Hey, new video. The uploads are actually coming in. Only 5 stories for today because I am pressured on time because of my academics, but I hope you guys enjoyed the stories while I played some Minecraft in the background. There's a lot of stuff I need to do in the world, so I hope you guys enjoyed.
Okay, first story. Am I the asshole for blocking my neighbor's car? In all the time I've lived here, 6 years, snow removal has been a non issue, but the building was sold last spring and this new guy apparently loves accumulation. What do you mean accumulation? Okay. Because of that, I didn't own a shovel, never needed one, but we got like 15 inches of snow and the landlord still hasn't plowed or cleared any snow. I'm not looking forward to it, freezing over, so I walk to the store, buy a shovel, and dig my car out. I also dig a fatty path across the parking lot so I can pull out. I take care of a couple errands, gone maybe an hour, and this lady parks in my spot. The only spot available. Yes, but it's there because of my labor. We don't have assigned parking, but we do always park in the same spot. So it's not like she doesn't know who carved a path. I'm not digging myself another parking spot. I'm not very altruistic, so I park behind her. I have a meeting in 15 minutes and I can't be F to find out whose car this is. There are only 3 units and 2 commercial stores downstairs, but they are closed today. Still, I decide not to go door to door. Halfway through the meeting, someone starts banging on my door. I ignore it, they don't stop, and they keep coming back every 5 or 10 minutes. When I wrap up my meeting, I finally answer the door, and this red faced lady is absolutely livid. We get into, and she tells me to move my car, and asking in what world was how I parked okay, and going on about how long she's been waiting. I tell her I dug that spot out myself and had nowhere to park, so I had no choice. I put my boots, coat back on, and go out to move my car, and my neighbor is there. I guess whoever she was visiting, I don't associate with the neighbor ever if I can help it. With his arms crossed, and he lays into me to saying I should have asked them when they needed to leave so we could decide who should park in back of who and move our cars. I'm just like, what the fuck? Because maybe he could have dug his guest a space if he knew she was coming. He brings up that there is no assigned parking and that he doesn't have a shovel anyways. Whatever. It went on, and I really don't think I was the asshole here. But my neighbor said he used to like me because I was quiet and respectful, but now he knows my true colors. So am I the asshole here? I genuinely feel like I'm in the right and they need to chill out, but now I think there is unnecessary bad blood between us. Okay, edit. Adding at a user's suggestion that the lot is gravel, but there is street parking as the front of the building is a sidewalk with 2 hour spots for visitors and customers. Also, so many YTA, NTA, ESH that I have no choice but to accept that we were all assholes. Just a bunch of assholes being assholes in the snow because of the landlord is is an asshole. TY, second edit. You know what I just realized though? They could have dug her a pathway out. The way I parked was only blocking her because it was the car wide path. I had shoveled, but she could have started digging herself away to turn around as easily as I dug away to pull out. She also could have just widened the path to a two-laner and popped out. Okay, this story, I think nobody's an asshole here. If I were in this situation, nobody should be an asshole here. Okay, I think everybody's just stressed because of their work, and then now there's like 15 inches of snow. 15 inches of snow just in their workplace parking. So there's no assigned parking. If there was, of course, the lady would be the asshole, but there isn't assigned parking. And I think there was parking just at the sidewalk in front of the building, I think. Yeah, in front of the building with 2 hours of spots for visitors and customers. Okay, but even though he worked his ass off trying to shovel the parking space, I think he's just doing it because he just want to get out. But you can't reserve the parking as well. I think they're all assholes. I think this is just a misunderstanding on all of their parts, and I think I think the lady overreacted. But I think also for example here in our neighborhood, sometimes we also do get situations like this when somebody's at the back of another car parking and the other car cannot get out. But normally the people here are patient and they just try to wait out the people who were parking behind them. So I think it's just about patience probably, but sometimes there are emergencies and emotions run high because of that. So I think nobody's an asshole here. Of course, this dude isn't an asshole, but yeah, it's just a misunderstanding probably. So I think that's it for the first story. Yeah, another story. This one's interesting. So this is the second story of the day. So let's get right into it. My other ex reached out to me tonight. Two exes in less than a month. Should I try to get back together? Okay, normally with exes, I don't get. My advice is do not get back together whatsoever. But let's read this one. I posted before about my high school ex randomly reaching out to me, and we've kept in touch. It's been nice. Tonight, during lunch, my phone lit up. It was my most recent ex. So this is a different person. We were together for 6 years. We've talked occasionally, but I haven't heard from her since January. I think about her all the time, and honestly, I've been wondering if we gave up too easily. We had our problems, but maybe we didn't really try hard enough to fix them. She knows I still care, so I don't bother her randomly. You know, I reached out for holidays, birthdays, but not just for no reason. Yesterday morning was particularly rough. Not sure why mornings are always like that. I think it's just waking up alone. It got to me, but I'll be fine. It was just a really rough morning. Then tonight she called me nearly at midnight. I answered. It was a good talk. We just caught up a bit and exchanged pleasantries, but honestly, it felt like something was still there. I like talking to her, I love hearing her voice, and part of me wonders if it's a sign. It was a good conversation, and now I can't stop thinking about whether I should tell her I want to try again. I don't know what the universe is doing to me, but I'm feeling so many emotions: hope, fear of getting hurt again, missing her, and actually wanting her back this time. Wondering if reaching out would be a mistake or the best decision I could make. Should I tell her how I feel? Is this cosmic timing or am I just lonely? Any advice would be appreciated. Hmm. Um. If you really genuinely feel that you want to try again and you're willing to go through the effort and sacrifices to be with that person, then go for it. Just go for it, dude. You want to try again, you want to make things right, just go for it. Even if you have that fear, you can't be stuck just in fear of what bad thing might happen. Just go for it. You cross you'll cross the bridge eventually, but when you cross that bridge, that's the time to face that problem, not overthinking and constraining your ability to just go for it. It's affecting your decision if you really want to go back with your ex. And I think for hearing from the text, he really does want to go back. I think he wants to change also. And I think he also wants to do it for the better. Somehow it's a change on both of their sides. And I think also the girl, since the girl is calling him, I think also has still a connection with him. But yet again, both still have problems, and maybe, you know, maybe each of you can help with each other's problems if you can help and encourage each other. But either way, it's a good thing if you just let it out and see if she wants to go back. And if not, well, at least you tried, and then the answer is no. But I think this still has potential, you know? So I think that's the second story done. What should I do about the girl in my neighborhood I'm concerned about? There's a middle school age girl in my neighborhood. I'm not sure where she lives, but I've seen her around a lot. She's never dressed appropriately for the weather. I've talked to her before when I was out in my yard and she was walking down the street a few times. During the summer, I just say hi and be friendly, but once it got colder and I noticed she looked freezing, I'd ask her before, "Do you have a coat, honey?" She always says she does but forgot it. It's always kind of bothered me, but this morning was the worst. We have had a cold snap recently, not unusual for this time of year where we live, and on my way to drop my daughter off at kindergarten, I saw her waiting at the bus stop with just a short sleeved shirt and leggings. The weather was 15 degrees Fahrenheit and she was literally shaking with cold. I stopped next to her and rolled down the window and said, "Sweetheart, aren't you cold?" She said no. Despite being shaking like a leaf, I said something like, "Do you want a coat? I have a million that I'm trying to get rid of," but she said no, thank you. I told her I hoped she had a nice day and drove away, but I can't stop thinking about her. It's not just the lack of winter gear that bothers me. She always looks so sad. Her eyes look dead, and even when she smiles, it never reaches her eyes. She looks like a depressed middle aged man who's tired of life, not like a preteen should look. Every time I see her, I think how sad she looks. I've also seen her riding her bike by herself at 9 at night, not dressed properly for the night. I know some kids are allowed to ride by themselves in the evenings, so that's not necessarily an indicator of a problem. But I have four kids, all under 8, so they're not in the same school, and my mom's senses are on fire that something is wrong. I know I could be completely overthinking it. Sometimes kids won't wear a coat because they think it looks lame, but when I drove past all the bus stops, every single kid had at least a warm jacket on. Her being so cold, combined with her overly depressed look, is so concerning to me. I've never seen a child look so defeated ever in my life. It breaks my heart, but I'm also worried that I'm overthinking things. Would it be inappropriate to call the middle school and give a description of her and where she gets on the bus, along with my concern about her lack of winter gear, and tell them I don't want to make waves, but could they look out for her a little extra? It's a relatively small community. The middle school probably has a few hundred kids in it, so odds are the school would know I'm talking about her description and where she gets on the bus. The bus driver surely does, as he or she is the one picking her up in freezing conditions in a t shirt and thin leggings. But I'm afraid of making things worse for her. If her parents are neglectful and they get a call from the school, they might take it out on her. Again, I could be overthinking that. I also have spent 6 months building up a friendly rapport with her, and if she knew I called and said anything, she might avoid my street and me altogether. I don't know where she lives, but she comes from the direction of the low income apartments, so it's possible her parents can't afford winter gear and she's too embarrassed to accept a coat from me or any of the other coat donation programs. Like I said, it's a small community, and every fall there is numerous coats and snow boot drives that she and her parents would be able to utilize, but they never seem to. Should I just mind my business and continue being friendly with her, or should I call call the school to make them aware of the situation? Would I be able to call anonymously? It just hurts my heart to see her out there shivering all the time, living where I do. Living where I do, I've never witnessed anything like that, and I'm totally unfamiliar with that kind of thing. I've offered her a quote a few times, but she always declines. Please help me understood if I'm overthinking the situation and need to let it go, or if it would be appropriate to call the school. Thank you for any and all advice. I'd also love some perspective on why she might be willing to freeze like that. Also, she does not appear to be malnourished at all. She is of a healthy weight, maybe even a tad overweight. Not no judgment there. I just add it for context to understand that she doesn't appear to being neglected. Food. Okay, that's it for the story. Let's talk about it. I think for me, I'd contact the school counselor or school guidance maybe, because sometimes there are wellness and testing centers that offer help for these students, especially if they're undergoing depression or anxiety or maybe any mental problems. Normally, schools offer those programs, but I think it depends also, because if she is suicidal, that might, yeah, you should, if she's suicidal, you have to call the proper authorities and the school as well, and if possible also inform her parents. But it's difficult to inform the parents as well, because maybe the reason why she's like that is maybe her parents, because we also don't know what the situation of the parents or their family situation looks like. But in the story you said it's she had like she lives from the low income apartment, so maybe there's a clue already to what this or what their financial situation looks like. So, and also, if you get to meet her, you could also ask her just in just some things, just a reassuring ask or question, like what is wrong, are you okay? Like those questions can maybe, because you've already built a good rapport on friendship and you're being friendly to her, and I think she already knows you. I think maybe she can let her walls down and maybe have a conversation and voice out her problems. I think that's the best way you could approach it. Ask her if you can, if you get the chance to see her, just ask her immediately and ask what is wrong. You know, just listen to her part of the story. And maybe if she still neglects you, then still try your best to offer help, encourage her, and just don't forcefully do it. Just ask nicely and openly, and be like a positive figure in her life. That's the advice I could give for this story. So I think that's it for the third story. And these stories are sad, genuinely sad. Okay. Okay, it started raining, so I'll still continue on reading the stories, but maybe the mic can hear rain in the background. I'm gonna check after recording. But either way, I'm still gonna include this. So, fourth story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to move seats in a computer lab even though a group got annoyed? I use one of the computer labs on campus a lot for schoolwork. Not all the stations are equal. Some have sticky keys, some lag badly, and one monitor flickers enough to give me a headache. There's one computer that actually works properly, so if it's free, I usually sit there. One afternoon, I got there early, logged in, opened my files, and was already a good 20 minutes into working when a group of students came in. One of them asked if I could move so they could sit next to their friend. I said no and explained that I was already set up and that this computer works better than most of the others. They didn't argue directly, but one of them sighed really loudly and said something like, It's literally just a seat. Another one joked that I was hogging the good computer. I tried to ignore it and kept working. A few minutes later, I overheard them talking to someone else nearby, saying I was being difficult and that people like me or why group work is annoying. At that point, it felt less like a simple request and more like they were trying to pressure me into moving by making it awkward. I could have moved and avoided the whole situation, but I was already working, and I don't think I should have to give up a functioning station just because someone else wants to sit next to their friend. So, am I the a hole for staying where I was? Um, if I were you, I would done the same thing because I'm already set up and I don't want to move because it's just me being lazy at the same time. But I really don't want to move, and I just technically mind other people's business. I think so. Yeah, I really don't care what other people think. So yeah, if they're pressuring you, well, ignore them. Worst things worse. Just they're just gonna immediately assault you physically, but that's never gonna happen normally. But yeah, you're not the asshole in this one. I would have done the same actually. But if I were, or if I knew the person, probably depends if I knew the person, because if I knew the person and we have a good close friendship or relationship, I'll probably um maybe move out. Depends on the person. And if it's like an old person, maybe I'm in a computer cafe and he wants to sit with someone else, maybe I would be kind enough to let them have the seat. Just depends on the person probably. But normal students who just wants to sit with their friends and I don't know them personally, I'll just probably ignore them and just said that I'm already set up and I'm trying to do focused work here because I have to do something for academics. So yes, I will not move. I will gladly not move and sit in this comfortable position I am already in. That was a very quick story. So that's a very quick fourth story. Okay, so let's proceed to the next. Okay, fifth story. Actually, it's not a story, it's a person seeking advice. A bit confused with a situation with a girl since I don't have much experience. Some backstory: I, 21 male, have a friend whose girlfriend has a single friend, 21 female, and my mate has been telling me I should ask her out. We've met once but didn't really talk, to be honest. I didn't I did not, and a few months passed, so a couple weeks ago I wake up to see that she added me on Snapchat at like 2 a.m., which I thought was a little weird, but I add her back and honestly was waiting to see if she was gonna say something. I'm awful with talking to women. Hey, same here, bro. I get a call from my friend's girlfriend later in the day, and she says that they had been out that previous night and I happened to come up, and she was saying that she'd be open to going on a date with me if I wanted. But when I added her back, she sent SC to our mutual friend and said I'm waiting to see if he says anything. So naturally, even though I never have before, I took this as a sign to ask her out and avoid the classic awkward texting for a couple weeks and never do anything. She then left me undelivered for a day while texting our friend that she doesn't know what to say, just to then reject me saying she doesn't know me that well, which honestly sucked even though it's true, which fair, but it seemed like she was interested and I thought that was the whole point of a date really. It just left me a bit confused, and apparently she since said something about it was a bit forward once again, fair enough, but at no point said like, could we just talk a bit first? Is this her just trying to reason it to not make me feel bad? I'm just pretty confused since I don't have much experience in this department. I think bro has been played. I think the girl is just trying to get attention, to be honest. It's pretty confusing because I think I'm not sure. It feels like you are being played. Like, that's all what I can get in this here. It's like you're being played. But the thing is, the woman did left you undelivered. She doesn't know what to say and then just quickly rejects you. That's not right. And she doesn't know him that well. Well, you could get to know each other through the date, you know. The girl is like a traffic light. You don't know if it's a green light, a red light. It's actually basically a yellow light. An absolute walking traffic light, to be honest. And for the male person, or for broski here, I think just forget it. Actually, you're being played. At the same time, the girl doesn't have like certain choices that will, or like, it's not a yes, it's not a no, it's kind of a no, but you know the reasons, and so it's so confusing. At the same time, it's so confusing. Just walk away from it, mate. That's literally the best thing you could do. Walk away from it, ignore it, forget about it, just move on, find another girl. There's so much people here in this world, so that's the only advice I could give. That story was pretty short, but I think there's a lot of people as well who are stuck in this situation where everything is just confusing. If the relationship, or you're getting very confused, maybe just it's better to just move on from it and forget about it. There are so many people in this world, unique people with different characteristics, traits, and abilities, where it's hard to find someone you like, but when you find someone you like, you'll probably stick it till the end. Just depends on situations and everything. Relationships are truly complicated, but if it's confusing at the start, just no, move on, forget about it, and move on to the next one.
Sorry for the short one today, guys. I have so much going on right now with school and my academics, but I'll try to post another video within a week from uploading this. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Subscribe so that you won't miss out on the next.